Welcome to Charles Travels, the podcast where we explore the heart of America, one story at a time. I'm your host, Charles Curall, and I'm delighted to have you join me on this journey today. As we travel through the country, we often find ourselves in small towns, surrounded by the sights, sounds, and aromas that make each place unique. And speaking of aromas, today's story takes us to a place where the scent of smoked meat wafts through the air, tantalizing our taste buds and transporting us to a world of culinary delight. We're headed to Wildfire Craft BBQ, a humble eatery in Victoria where chef-turned-pitmaster Casey Hildebrand is serving up some of the most mouth-watering barbecue this side of the Mississippi. As we pull into the parking lot, the sound of sizzling meat and lively chatter fills the air, drawing us in like a magnet. We step inside, and our eyes land on the simple yet rustic decor, timber-top tables, metal trays, and the warm glow of pendant lights. Casey's passion for barbecue is evident in every detail, from the tender, juicy brisket to the fall-apart pulled pork, all smoked to perfection and served with a side of house-made condiments. And let's not forget the specials. That epic smoked steak on a Martin's potato bun with caramelized onion and baconaise is a game-changer. But what truly sets Wildfire Craft BBQ apart is the blend of flavors and traditions that reflect Casey's Filipino heritage, like the garlic fried rice and Eliza Hawker's honey butter cornbread. As we sit down to enjoy our meal, the sounds of Bon Jovi fill the air, adding to the lively atmosphere. It's clear that this is a place where community comes together, where strangers become friends over a shared love of good food and warm hospitality. And as we take our first bites, the flavors transport us to a world of comfort and joy, reminding us that sometimes the simplest pleasures in life are the most profound. As we explore the back roads of America, we often stumble upon hidden gems like Wildfire Craft BBQ, where the love of craft and tradition comes alive. It's a reminder that the true beauty of our country lies not just in its grand landscapes, but in the everyday moments, the ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and the rich tapestry of stories that make up our collective heritage. We'll be right back with more fascinating travel adventures on Charles Travels. Welcome back to Charles Travels, folks. I hope you're enjoying the journey so far. As we continue to explore the wonders of our world, I'd like to take you to a place where music fills the air, but not in the way you might expect. Today, we're going to talk about birdsong, and how it's more than just a melodious tune. It's a window into the social dynamics of our feathered friends. Imagine walking through a forest, surrounded by the sweet sounds of birds singing their hearts out. It's a symphony that's both familiar and yet uniquely nuanced each time you hear it. But have you ever stopped to think about how these songs change over time? Do birds learn new tunes, or do they stick to what they know? Well, a fascinating study from the University of Oxford has shed some light on this very question. Researchers spent 3 years recording the dawn songs of male great titbirds in a biological site of special scientific interest in the UK. They collected an astonishing 109,000 different songs, which they then attributed to individual birds using artificial intelligence. What they found was remarkable. The study revealed that demographic change drives birdsong evolution. In other words, the age and movement of birds within a community influence the types of songs they sing. Younger birds learn new songs at a faster rate than their older counterparts, while older birds act as archives for otherwise forgotten tunes. But here's the interesting part. When an older bird dies, the songs it has preserved are lost forever. This population turnover rapidly speeds up a neighborhood's musical evolution. On the other hand, migration between communities slows down the rate of song change as immigrant birds adapt to the popular songs of their new community. This study has significant implications for conservation efforts. By understanding how birdsong changes with demographic change, researchers might be able to use these changes to monitor the mixing, fragmentation, and rate of turnover in bird communities. As I reflect on this story, I'm reminded of the intricate web of life that surrounds us. The songs of birds are not just a pleasant background noise. They're a vital part of their social fabric. And by listening to these songs, we can gain a deeper understanding of the world around us. So let's take a moment to appreciate the beauty of birdsong and the secrets it holds about the lives of these incredible creatures. Stay tuned for our final story of the day, right here on Charles Travels. Welcome back to Charles Travels, folks. I'm your host, Charles, and I'm glad you're joining me for the final segment of our show today. As we wrap up our journey across the country, I want to take a moment to reflect on the stories that have touched our hearts and minds. Today, I want to share with you a story that's both heartbreaking and thought-provoking. As I've been traveling through the countryside, I've been thinking about the importance of community and the impact that one person can have on those around them. And that's what makes the story of Audrey Griffin so poignant. Audrey was a young woman from Gosford, Australia, who had her whole life ahead of her. She was about to start a new career in the Navy, and her family and friends were beaming with pride. But tragically, Audrey's life was cut short when she was murdered while walking home from a friend's farewell party. The investigation that followed was complex, and it took the tireless efforts of her family and local detectives to uncover the truth. What they found was shocking. Audrey's killer was a man named Adrian Noel Torrens, who had a history of violence and had been stalking his ex-partner just hours before the murder. As I listened to the story of Audrey's family and their quest for justice, I couldn't help but think about the ripple effects of violence in our communities. How one person's actions can have far-reaching consequences that affect so many lives. And how important it is for us to support those who are affected by tragedy, whether it's through advocacy, listening, or simply being present. Audrey's story is a reminder that we all have a role to play in creating safer, more compassionate communities. It's a call to action, urging us to speak out against violence and to support those who are working towards justice and healing. As I close out today's show, I want to leave you with a sense of hope and resilience. Even in the face of tragedy, there is always a way forward, always a chance for healing and growth. And I believe that by sharing stories like Audrey's, we can create a more empathetic and informed community. That's all for today's Charles Travels. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, keep on traveling.